In this video, I share with you the Warlayer Forbidden War Kickstarter that's going on right now. But before we get into the video, I want to give a quick shout out to all of my Patreon supporters. I love you all. You make this channel what it is. And I want to share this past month's GGGGs. Each month, Bob the Beholder picks some of my Patreon supporters to receive gratitude gifts. For this past month of September of 2023, John J. and Brian O. are receiving the Hell Terrain Pledge from DecoQuest. Tim A. is receiving this printed and painted Hell Terrain Hellgate. JJA is receiving the TTS-20 laser. Todd C. is receiving $100 to go towards the Rollacrit messenger bag. And for this month of October of 2023, this printed and painted Warlayer set is actually one of the gratitude gifts. Go ahead and use the link below to go to my Patreon page. As the month goes along, we're going to be adding more to the GGGG list. So a while ago, I did do a video of Warlayer terrain. If you want to check it out, go here. At that time, I was looking for some Grimdark terrain, and Warlayer really fit that bill. Now it's been a number of years, and they've had a couple of other campaigns, and this is their newest iteration. Antoine reached out to me and sent me some of these sample files so that I could show you a sample build and how this terrain functions and is modular, and you can piece it together relatively easily. We will be going over to the computer to check out all of the details of the campaign that's going on right now. That campaign will be ending on October 28th, so make sure you jump on that. Use the links below if you want to get in on this Kickstarter. Also, I do have a painting tutorial, so go ahead and use the timestamp below if you want to skip ahead to any of those sections. I think most people will instantly recognize the aesthetic of sort of the Grimdark terrain that is commonly found in Warhammer 40k, but you can use this terrain for almost any kind of full-out army wargaming, or if it's just skirmish battles. And because it's modular, you're not just stuck to one way that these buildings go together, but you're able to change it up and mix it up. And as you can see, just from this sample of files that I received, there's quite a bit that you can do. And I particularly like the fact that you can have these balconies and open areas, because one of the things that I like about terrain is being able to have line of sight through buildings so that it isn't completely blocking your view. So I like the fact that there's a lot of open areas, there's ruined sections, so that you can actually see and have line of sight to other parts of the field. Also, I like the fact that the pieces are just the right amount of tightness so that they're not slipping and falling off, but they're not so tight that it's hard to put or slide these pieces into these corners. And it's sort of just the right amount where I don't feel like I need to glue them together, or that I need to actually try to force them in where I'm worried that I'm going to break it. So all the pieces just were able to put together really quickly and easily. So in terms of having modular terrain, I think this is fantastic. And if you do use my paint scheme, this is super quick to be able to paint up, get on the board very fast. And I think that is one of the benefits of a lot of this kind of terrain, is that you don't have to spend a ton of time painting it up in order for it to look good. The other thing that's really nice about the fact that these pieces come apart is it's really easy to stow away, because you can store everything flat by disassembling it. But of course, if you want faster setup, you can sort of glue some of these pieces together, because then you can choose to just stack them on top of each other, and setup would be a lot quicker if you choose to do it that way. So you have a lot of options, and I feel like that's one of the great things about this Kickstarter, is you can make it the way that you want. And I also appreciate the fact that Antoine did include some build guidelines so that you're not just left entirely on your own to try to figure out how things work. And he did create a build guide specifically for me to be able to put this sample piece together. So I'm not 100% sure if he's going to be sharing that, but that was really handy for me, along with a print list, to know what I needed to print in order to put this particular piece together. Before we go to the computer to check out the campaign, I did want to give a quick shout out to Into the AM. Check out this shirt. They sent a couple new shirts to me, and it is one of my favorite shirts that I own. Not only because of the cool prints that are on it, but also because it is super comfortable. The cotton shirts are super soft, and it feels like pajama quality in terms of how comfortable they are. So go ahead and use the link below as well as my code in order to get your discount for being one of my viewers. Sorry for the cricket. You're going to hear my pet cricket in the background, but here is the Kickstarter page for this campaign, and it's only been a couple of days so far, almost reached $10,000, so pretty successful. And let's really quickly look at the different pledge awards. You have the core set, that is all of the STL files from this campaign as well as stretch goals, and so that is $50. And then you have the Kickstarter bundle core set, which comes with their previous Kickstarter, the Warlayer 4.0. That's included, so that's $30 more if you wanted last Kickstarter's files. And then here's everything and more for another $30 on top of that, for $110 total. You are getting everything and some Forbidden Prince bundle sets. Now, I will show you later what those are. It's a little bit confusing. Also, don't be confused by this sentence. This offer is only available for Kickstarter backers. I reached out to Antoine, and what he means by that is this bundle won't be offered after this campaign. So I was a little bit confused by that wording. So don't worry, you don't have to be a previous Kickstarter if you're pledging at the $80 or $110 level. You are getting all of the STL files from this Kickstarter as well as the previous one. And then with this, everything and more, you're actually getting bonus content from Andrew that is on his My Mini Factory page. And I'll show you that later. But let's go ahead and take a look at the page. This just shows you how everything goes together pretty quickly and easily. Here is some samples that you are able to download. And I do really appreciate the build guides that he has, so that you aren't left on your own to figure out how all the pieces get together. So once you learn how these pieces go, you can pretty much create any kind of configuration that you want, as you can see here on this page. So this is just showing you just height. Now here it's just showing you just setting it right on top. There are really tiny pegs on top of these corners, but I do suggest using those little slide-in pieces. It just holds it together a lot better. And just showing you the modularity and different builds. Here are the dimensions in case you're curious what the size is. These are the narrower walls and windows, and this shows you the two-tier version, how it sort of comes together. Here are all the wall options that you're going to get, and this is actually I think 1.5 wide, so you can go wider if you want. I really appreciate the damage walls because I actually prefer having a lot of damage to my buildings. Again, that's so that you can see through some of the buildings with line of sight issues. Door hatch, and this just shows you how you put it together relatively easily. Some ladders and some balcony railings. All of the pillars that you're going to receive. Stairs, I didn't print out any of these, but you're getting stairs, and what I appreciate about these is that they're wide enough that you can stick a miniature onto these stairs and they won't fall off. They're actually practical stairs. And again, just more examples of different builds that you can make. And then this just breaks down each of the pledges with the core set, so that because they're incorporating some of the previous Kickstarters, it might be a little bit confusing, but this graphic is going to help you. Forbidden War is this current Kickstarter, so these are all of the files that you're going to be receiving. And then you're going to get this bridge I think Andrew made. So Andrew and Antoine are partnering together to produce these files. So Andrew is the one who came up with the original Warlayer. And then here is the mid-tier set at $80. You're getting the Warlayer 4.0 Kickstarter, and that's giving you over 200 STLs. So pretty good deal to just for $30 more, getting the entire Kickstarter set from the previous one. And this is the Warlayer 4.0. And go ahead and go to the previous Kickstarter if you want to see all of the different files that you're going to get there. And these are all compatible with one another. And this is the full bundle. And again, for $30 extra, you are getting each one of these. So if you click on them, it will take you to My Mini Factory and show you what each of the sets that are being thrown in. So it's a super good deal because as you can see here, just one of them is $26 and you're getting all of these for just $30 more. So if you really want a variety in your terrain, I mean, look at that. This is Necron terrain basically, and you're getting quite a bit. This is $11. So again, you're just saving with this bundle. Take a look here, the pit, which is super cool. You're getting all of these vehicles, which I think is super cool. This is the orc set. So a bunch of scatter terrain and barriers that you can have. And again, this is $7, relatively cheap, but being bundled together is a pretty darn good set. Here's the warp gate, generators. I think it's just these two in this set. And then finally, here is the gas silos. It looks like here are some painted examples of what they look like. So again, if you are looking for a lot more terrain, this is at $110. This is a pretty good deal. This is a good question. Can all models be printed without supports? I did print everything without supports, except for the door. I did have to put in supports, just like Antoine is showing here, in order to print out the door, but everything else I was able to print without supports. I did, as you can see here, I did put a brim around the bottom of most of the walls. I didn't have to for the columns. And that just helped with bed adhesion. Resin, although I would not print, I don't print terrain out in resin just because it's just more expensive. And then here's some unlocks, some half wall set, which is pretty cool. And here are a bunch of other unlocks that might happen with the half stairs, circular windows. This floor hatch looks super cool, so I hope that unlocks. You got angles, different kinds of floors, and angled supports, more archways. So a lot of stretch goals planned, which I think is smart because this looks like it's going to be a pretty successful campaign. So again, go ahead and use the link below if you want to go to the Kickstarter page. So there you have it. Hopefully this video was helpful for you to determine whether or not this set is for you. Go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe, as I'll be coming out with more review videos of other STL files that you can use for gaming. And stick around if you want to see the painting tutorial. It's really quick, and actually it's the same method that I used for my original Warlayer terrain. And congratulations again to my Patreon supporters who were chosen by Bob to receive last month's gratitude gifts. And hopefully you too can jump in on that and possibly be chosen for this month's gratitude gifts. Happy printing, happy gaming. We'll see you next time. All right, we're gonna go ahead and just spray flat black primer. My favorite is Rust-Oleum 2x Ultra Cover. I think this is $5 at Walmart, so it's pretty cheap. And since most of these pieces are flat, you just wanna spray all of one side. And because I print everything in black, it's sort of hard to tell, but since I've been doing this for a long time, I can sort of tell. And it obviously doesn't matter if you don't get a complete coat on there because it is black. This just helps the paint stick onto the PLA. So once that's dry, flip it over and do the rest. Grabbing some Rookwood Red. It's a little awkward to say. And then I have a hog's hair brush, a stiff brush, usually for oil painting or acrylic painting. Get a whole package of this for relatively cheap. And you just want to randomly get it on there like this. I'll show you on the wall. So just really random like that. So we're going to have zinc or any kind of sort of darker silver, and going to grab even a bigger brush this time. And instead of being super splotchy, you're actually putting it everywhere. You can be a little bit splotchy and uneven, but the key thing is to put it everywhere so it looks like the piece is metal. And you notice it's not like I'm putting silver on the panel so that the entire panel is silver. You're just dry brushing it on there like this. And these columns are pretty easy to do too. You're just dry brushing the edges. So that pretty much looks like that.